Hey everybody, this is Jeremiah Craig, and today I have an in-depth review of the Capistrano Black from Ranch Road boots. Not only am I doing an unboxing and first impression review of these boots, but I'm also doing an extended test, and I have an interview with the Ranch Road Boots owner, Sarah Ford. Then we're closing things out with my final thoughts about this Capistrano Black cowboy boot from Ranch Road Boots. Let's get into it. Strap in because this is gonna be epic. I don't know if you guys have seen any of the advertisements popping around on Instagram, but when I saw them, I just thought the boots were beautiful. So I contacted owner Sarah Ford and asked if she would be interested in sending me a pair to review. This is that pair. This is the Capistrano Black. Whoa, nice. Ranch Road. We got a bunch of cowboys on the box here, as you can see. Oh, this is a cool picture. I really like this. Let's see what's inside. Oh wow, this is cool. So right off the bat, we got a little card here. It says, "Enjoy your boots." Then on the back, it has a picture of a guy enjoying his boots while reading the newspaper. Oh no, he's reading a map. It says, "Problems with your order? Email Sarah at ranchroadboots.com and I'll put a smile back on your face." Sarah Ford, owner. And the phone number is there too. Wow, that's super personalized, coming from the owner herself. That is very cool. Each boot comes in its own boot bag. Look at that. It's a cotton bag with a drawstring at the top. All right, let's take a look. Wow. Wow. That is a beautiful boot. What a simple and classic look. You have the Ranch Road logo down here on the counter. Stacked leather heel, rubber heel as well here on the bottom. Ranch Road stamped into the sole. We got wooden pegs here. It is a leather sole, but it feels coated somehow. I'm not sure what that coating is, but it feels much different. We got a single stitched welt here, no toe stitching, so it's a very, very clean look. Also, very little stitching on the shaft as well. It's very decorative up along the piping here and around the pull strap and the collar of the boot. Down around the scallop as well, but the shaft itself around the front and the sides is just a very simple look. Let's take a look at see what we got inside here. Wow, leather lined. This is a very nice leather on the inside. It's so soft, guys. Wow. We have a tag on this boot here, and on the tag it says handmade boots. Ranch Road Boots was started out of love for freedom, West Texas, and a hell-bent determination to craft good-looking, well-made footwear, founded by Sarah Ford, a United States Marine Corps veteran, and a product of San Angelo, Texas. All right, I think it's time to try this on. The Ranch Road Boots Capistrano Black. Oh, wow. Wow. Right when I put it on, it feels incredible. The leather lining in this boot is unlike any I've ever felt before. Feels luxurious, literally. Wow. Oh my gosh. Whatever is coated on that leather sole is kind of sticking to the wood floor here. It's a little strange. It's a very strange sensation. I haven't felt that before, but wow, does that look good. Jeez, this looks amazing. It's such a classy looking boot. It feels very comfortable. This is a very unique feel, made in Spain. I've never felt a boot like this before. So the insole has cushion, but it's not as cushiony as a gel insole or some sort of foam. It's got that leather feel, but it feels like a broken in leather sole with a touch more cushion. The leather, especially on the counter, the back of the boot here, feels really tough and like it needs a little bit of breaking in. Same with the vamp, but it's still very soft leather. Wow, I've never experienced a boot feel like this. This is very different from anything I've ever tried. I have good arch support as well. If you guys get this boot, the heel slip is a little bit more than what you might be used to on a new brand, but I can already feel that counter sort of cupping the heel. So as this boot settles, it will definitely hug the heel a lot more. But it's just like a smidgen more heel slip, but at the ball of the foot and around the width where my foot is the widest, it definitely is a perfect fit there. Like it's snug, but it's not too snug, and I have plenty of room for my toes as well. I really want to just walk around town now and see what happens. In fact, let's go do that. Let's go do that right now. Walking up and down the street with this boot, it's incredible how comfortable this boot is. And the sensation on concrete with that outsole lining, whether it be rubber or some other synthetic, it's very grippy. It has traction. Yeah, this boot has so much more traction than on any other boot right out of the box with a leather sole that I've ever tried. And it has to do with that coating. If you get new boots with leather soles, you gotta scuff them up a little bit so you don't fall on your ass. But that's not really necessary for these boots because they have so much traction already. So if you didn't want to do that, I would say that you shouldn't feel like you have to because it already has a lot of traction. You can see some of the leather coming through after walking on the concrete for about 5 minutes. Forget about the experience of the rest of the boot, the rest of the box, which was incredible. The experience of putting your foot in this boot is awesome. It does come with a little bit higher price than some of the other Cowboy boots that are out there, but I gotta say that it's worth it. Just the leather lining and the feel. It's a completely different experience. This boot is going for $368 online if you go to ranchroadboots.com. And I gotta say it's worth it. I gotta say that it's probably worth more than that. Just based off of the feel and the experience alone, I would say it's worth more than $368. So I was pretty impressed with these Capistrano boots right out of the box. But I know some of you guys have been like, well, it's great. That seems like a great boot, but how does it last? Well, I had the unfortunate opportunity to wear these for about 1.5 miles, and let me tell you, wearing them for the 1.5 miles was the best part. What was the unfortunate part? Hey everybody, so I got my car towed today, and I didn't realize that there was a street sweeping on my new block every first Thursday, so I unfortunately gotta go pick that up now, but I decided to take the opportunity, since I had to walk 1.5 miles to the garage where they towed it to, that I would walk in my Ranch Road Capistrano boots and give them a little bit more of a test. Yeah, it's 1.5 miles. You're probably thinking, Jeremiah, you must be crazy. walking a mile and a half in brand new boots that aren't even broken in yet. Well, I would have to agree with you. But I just wanted to see how they hold up. And you know, if they hold up well for a mile and a half after not even being broken in at all, maybe that says something. And I gotta say, I'm pretty impressed with them. I'm about a half a mile in right now. And that insole, the leather insole that they have in this, that has some foam or some rubber in it, in addition to the cork, is really soft. You know, it's not too hard like the leather soles, the traditional leather soles, but it still does have a little bit of give, not too much like the gel where your foot is sort of wobbling around, which is what I really don't like about gel insoles. So this is a really nice leather insole, and it feels good walking on all of this asphalt and concrete. Well, I got my car back. Man, this whole thing's a racket, isn't it? But the boots held up nice on the walk, and no blisters, nothing. Maybe I'll think of something to report in this next segment. Pretty sad situation that I got my car towed, but to be honest, the Capistranos were the best part of that because it made the walk much more comfortable and I was able to relax a little bit more. If I had to deal with that with an uncomfortable pair of cowboy boots, my mind would probably have exploded. The only thing I have to add is that when I got home, I noticed that the shaft of this boot is more narrow than a lot of other cowboy boots, especially at the throat here. It's a lot more difficult to get your foot in and out especially for me. I know some of you might say, well, that's a common thing with cowboy boots. Why don't you just get a shoehorn? But it is more narrow than a lot of other cowboy boots that you may have. It's just the way that it's built, which could be good or bad depending on your preferences. And we get into this a little bit in this next segment with Sarah Ford, owner of Ranch Road Boots. This is my interview, and you'll have to excuse the sort of jerky footage because the connection was a little bad, but the content is spectacular.
Hey, Jeremiah. So before our interview, I just want to show you our surroundings so you know where I'm sitting. This is our showroom, and I'm in Dallas, Texas right now. And here's all of our boots that are available. They're all mostly on pre-order right now. Some of them we actually have in stock. And this is like Moto Military, which we're really expanding on next year, and then men's and women's Western. So that's it. That's where I'm sitting right now while we're talking.
Going way back to the beginning, what made you want to get into making boots and shoes and things like that, from custom and then ready to wear?
Yeah, I grew up in San Angelo, Texas, which is a big boot wearing culture. ML Letty's is a famous custom boot shop out of Fort Worth and San Angelo. My grandfather, Daddy Tom, would buy the boots that were already built, but like customer rejects from Letty's customers, and they would put them on the shelf, and then you could shop that. It was almost like a sample sale. I was out of the Marines, and I was at home visiting him, and he was really old. He was getting near death. And I was like, you know, I'm going to go buy myself a pair of Letty's boots in honor of my granddad. And I had so much fun during the design process. I really enjoyed it. And I like poured over all the threads and everything. And I just thought it was like so fun. And then I had to wait like almost a year and a half or something to get my boots. And as being, you know, a business-minded person, I was like, wow, like there must be so much demand for these that I have to wait a year and a half. The way I think about custom boots now are like works of art. And it's like tradition that a family will buy from a boot maker. And those boot makers, each boot is like unique to that boot maker. It's hard to build like a scalable business model off of custom. Some companies have done it, but they've been around for over 100 years. So for a new brand, it's like, good luck. Like my kids will be 80 by the time everyone knows about if I had just continued down the path of custom boots.
To see your boots made in Spain, it's a little bit out of the ordinary from where the boot market is right now, on at least mainstream. Why did you choose to make your boots in Spain rather than someplace else?
for me, it's a point of differentiation. Spaniards aren't giant consumers of cowboy boots like Americans are. And it's kind of strange that there is a cowboy boot manufacturing place in Spain. But the story of it is like so cool. Like, the great grandfathers came to California. They were in the tannery business. They saw these boots that in Spain they call country boots. In California, they're Spanish guys in the early 1900s. And they were like, oh, those are like our boots, the country boots in America, but they're more colorful. And Americans called them cowboy boots. So they went back and started making cowboy boots. So it's over 100 years old. Some of the workforce in there is sixth generation. The quality is like great. It's heavily unionized, so the working conditions are great. Like, I just felt really good about those two things. Like, they make for all really high-end brands as well. So the quality was there. It's expensive, but the quality was exquisite. Working conditions were really good. And so I didn't, that was kind of the easy decision. One of the Six Flags over Texas was Spain too. So Texas and Spain have a history. I think that Spain, people know that the great leathers come out of there too. The funny thing is, when I first started my business, I have to eat my own words on some of the video, because like my brand intro video from 2012, we were made in the US, and I really wanted to find a US based manufacturer. But the problem is like people's kids are not going and becoming boot makers. Like, they're becoming accountants. Shoe manufacturing industry in America, like, I don't see it getting bigger than it is now.
What makes the leather lining of the Capistrano so unique and luxurious feeling?
I just thought it was like angel tears. Like, we put
Nice.
My goal is for my customers to have all of them to have a similar experience. Like, they're not cheap, but I want them to feel that they're getting value, that they're getting like more than they paid for. And so for me, like, cutting corners, it's just not worth it on leather, because you can really, the wow factor is there, and people really, you can deliver great value if you give somebody like a wonderful leather from day one. So that's what I try to do. We're really proud of the sourcing and in the leather selection.
Another thing that made your boot really unique that I noticed was that rubber coating on the leather sole on the bottom. What is that, and why did you choose to do that?
That's the first boot we did that injected sole. It extends the life of the sole, because otherwise they're leather. And so leather wears down faster than rubber. So that injection has some shock absorbency qualities to it too, but it'll also like especially in Boston, it'll wear longer than an all leather sole. With any boot that you wear a lot, you'll have to get them resoled, and ours are Goodyear welted, so you can get them resoled. But yeah, it'll just extend the life of it too. That was the main reason that we did it.
I also noticed that you don't have any widths on your website. It's just the one width for every boot. So could you sort of break down that fit for us?
Yeah. So the fit, the throat fit versus the footbed fit. Do you know if you have what your true width is? Are you a D, like a solid D?
I was true fit a couple of months ago, and it seems to me that I'm a B.
Okay. So the footbed part, do you think it's narrow or more of the shaft?
No, the footbed is perfect, especially in the toe box. It's great. It's just the throat of the boot. It's just a little bit tougher for me to get my foot out of it. I can get my foot in it easy. It's just out is the problem.
So from the data that I have, it's pretty much like 80% will say it fits true to size, not too narrow, not too wide, and almost equal on too wide and too narrow on that spectrum. So the rest of them are almost equally scattered. So I would say that it's pretty standard width. we do have more narrow shafts. So, like on some jeans, you don't want your boot to push out from the inside. We've taken feedback and just tried to give a little bit more room in the throat. I mean, we're talking like an eighth of an inch on a stitching thing. It's not much. It's not really noticeable, but just if people want it, they don't want to struggle to pull them on. But then other people really like that. So it's hard to please everybody. We typically have more narrow shafts than I think a lot of other boot companies. They probably do it just because it's more accommodating, so you can accommodate more wide. And now for me, I'm gonna start carrying 3E, the Roper version, and the Capistrano in black and brown. We're gonna start carrying these two styles in 3E.
I'm curious about what some of your goals are for Ranch Road boots over the next 5 years or even beyond. Like, where do you want to take this thing?
Yeah, I want it to be a really big brand. I'm in the middle of evolving beyond pure Western. So we're going to do for spring more shoes and sneakers. And obviously our roots are in West Texas. We won't abandon that, but I want to evolve beyond that. And so you'll see in some of our marketing over this year of that evolution taking place. And then with our spring collection, even more so. But I have really huge ambitions for it. So it's all about execution and raising money. I like the direct-to-consumer business because we can meet people on the internet and then have white glove customer service all the way to when they get the boots and care afterwards. I have very lofty goals for, I'm competitive and I want to win, and I want us to be a household name, and I want to always deliver great value to people. So it's not a cheap boot, but I want people to feel like they're getting more than they paid for.
Sarah Ford and I talked for about 45 minutes on that conference call, and I had to chop it down just because I didn't want this video to be an hour. But if you want to see the entire interview with Sarah Ford of Ranch Road Boots, check out the link in the description because I posted the whole thing to my Cowboy Boot group on Facebook. But I do want to share one more segment from our interview.
I like your shirt, by the way.
Thank you. That's my logo. Merch. I'm going to clip it out and use it as an ad. Sarah Ford of Ranch Road Boots likes my merch. That's right. If my merch is good enough for Sarah Ford of Ranch Road Boots, it's good enough for you. Link in the description. All right, now on to my final thoughts of the Capistrano Black from Ranch Road Boots. I gotta be honest here, I wore these for a week, and I know some of you look forward to some of these extended tests to see how these cowboy boots hold up. And I gotta say, I am very impressed with this boot. I absolutely love the lining. It is so soft. I believe on the website it says glove soft lining. I've never had gloves that are this soft. I am very impressed with the lining. I love the tight welt too. It's very tight up against that boot and it just looks great. The other thing is the narrow throat. Now that's gonna be something that I'm gonna have to get used to. Maybe I'll have to start using a shoehorn more frequently or just wait for the boots to break in a little bit more. If you are considering getting this boot, just know that there is a narrow shaft and it might be a little bit difficult depending on your foot to get into or out of. After a week, the interesting coating that was on the outside of this sole has pretty much come off, and you can see the little rubber injected strips here a lot more. It was kind of difficult to see what these were with that coating. I thought it might be kind of decorative, but these are definitely rubber in here now that I see this. And as you walk around, you'll notice that this is a much quieter boot than any other boot that I've tried. So part of that is the rubber, but I have rubber soled boots that are still louder. This is a really quiet boot. Now I know that some of you guys like loud boots. If you don't and you kind of want to stay less conspicuous when wearing cowboy boots, this may be the boot for you because it practically makes no noise when you're walking around, which I thought was very interesting. But these are definitely rubber strips here. The sole has worn down quite a bit since I first put them on. I mean, 1.5 miles will do that. But, I mean, it looks like it will last a significant amount of time with those rubber injected strips in here. So I'll have to keep an eye on that and do an update in the future. The other thing I really like about it is this French style toe down here. It's a nice look, it's classic. It just goes along with the rest of the feel that the boot has. Very classic, very simple. The other thing I noticed about this boot after wearing it for a week is that the heel is a little bit shorter than your traditional cowboy heel. So a traditional cowboy heel is around 1 5/8 inch. This is 1 3/8. I measured this online. It says it's about a 1.5 inch heel. It still is just a little bit smaller. So if you are coming from a roper style cowboy boot with that 1 inch heel, this really isn't that much of a difference. And if you're looking for a cowboy heel look but don't want a tall heel, this might be a good way to go for you. As you heard Sarah say in the last segment, they are a little bit more expensive. They come in at $368. But I gotta say that my initial impression that this boot is worth more than that stands firm. I was thinking about it and I was comparing it to brands like Lucchese that are known for quality and are also known for being a little bit more expensive. Now, I've tried cowhide Lucchese's and calfskin Lucchese's that have been around $500, and this compares. I gotta say that this is worth the money, if not more. The experience is spectacular. The box, just the whole opening process. Like, I know some of you guys are like, who gives a shit about the box? Well, in this day and age, it's the little details. I mean, it's nice to have an experience when you open a box, and I think that is worth something too. But let me know what you think in the comments. If I have to say something negative about this boot, I would say that I'm not the biggest fan of the brown and black. I haven't been a huge fan of mixing browns and blacks. So the outsole with the tops here, or the uppers, I just don't like the matching. I know some of you do. If you do, you can call me crazy in the comments. That's fine. But that's what they make shoe polish for. Cringe moment for some of you. Yeah, I'm gonna probably polish the bottoms black and just make this an entirely black boot. Probably the biggest thing that I don't like about this boot is the inseam on the counter. So when I sat down earlier this week and I crossed my legs, I noticed this little divot in the counter. And I was like, oh man, did I gouge these already? How did I gouge these boots? I didn't even know. And my fiance was like, no, that's a seam. That's a sewing seam. And I looked at the other boot and sure enough, it's on this counter as well. So I'm just not the biggest fan of seeing the seam in the counter. That's just not what I see in a lot of these other boots. And it's just a little bit irksome just because they're not even. On this one, it's a little bit outside, and on this one, it angles a little bit more towards the inside. So it's just not even center on the boot. It's just a little bit weird. But to be honest, it's not that big of a deal to me. I enjoy the quality of this boot. I enjoy the look of it. It's on the back. Nobody's ever gonna see it except for me. So it's just sort of one of those things that's like, I'm not completely a fan of that seam on the counter, but I can get over it because this is just a beautiful, comfortable boot. Let me know what you guys think of this boot in the comments. Thank you so much for watching today. Thank you so much for Sarah Ford to spend her time with me doing that interview. This was an epic review and I had a lot of fun doing it. I will be doing more. Let me know what you think of these kind of reviews down in the comments, and I will see you guys next time. Peace. I'm going down Ranch Road, feeling fine in a classic boot belonging to no time. From the leather lining to the outsole, this boot is one of a kind. I'm going down a ranch road, feeling fine. My name is Jeremiah Craig. Don't forget to subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Peace.